So over to you guys.
Brilliant. Yes. So we're going to hand back to Vic, because before we can talk about what physically active learning might look like in a school environment, we need to think about behaviour change, particularly in relation to teaching stuff. So over to you, Vic, to explain this.
Oh, thank you. It's a nice, simple model. So some of you have probably seen a lot of Susan Michie on the news a lot for behavioural science and the pandemic, believe it or not. So this is the lady, and this combi on the left-hand side is something that we use a lot now within behavioural science. And I think what we've talked about already, and Steve's mentioned a bit about how can we almost get going with this and within a school. If we're looking at the combi and the three central things, we've got to look at the capabilities. Now, the capabilities aren't just about the children's capabilities, but more the physical and the psychological capabilities that the teachers have on their ability to be able to think out the box, to do physically active learning. Where are they at? Now, this will range. So we've done lots and lots of focus groups recently for across Europe and in the UK, and I've interviewed quite a few teachers, and we can see that the capabilities of these teachers vary greatly. And what we have to do is we have to identify, well, where are they at? Because it's no good actually throwing in lots of these diet of physical active learning and movement across the thing when actually they lack that capability, their physical ability. So somebody's been told go and deliver a PE class in primary school, but actually their physical and motor skill isn't that good, and they feel, their capability isn't going to be good enough to deliver a good session. It's exactly the same when we're looking at creating more movement, creating more physically active learning opportunities in the school. So we kind of look at capability from that level. We then look at motivation. So the reason why I like the combi more is it's got what we call automatic motivation in as well, and reflective. And I think that's really important. So how are we motivated? Now, it's really difficult for you guys who are teachers to feel that you've got that automatic motivation when you've got all these competing demands and actually you can't see a benefit from it. So, and it links nicely to the opportunities. So the opportunities within your school and the structure, what environment. So Ian's gone on about this loads, and I think it's really, really important. The physical and the social structure and the environment that you are in, is that supporting you to be able to actually even risk having a go and trying this out? What does your school ethos culture like? Are you feeling safe enough to do it? And I think at the moment what we tend to do, so we're going to be working with Bryn and Ian to kind of look at these and unpick these for teachers, because there's no point throwing all these whistles and bells into a school when actually we know that capability is low, and what we have to do is we have to work on that. And what we try and do is look at almost small steady steps for teachers to build that. So we're doing quite a lot at the moment called Activate, and we're doing lots within physical active learning, and we've got different stages, and teachers have a different learning journey just like students have. And for physical active learning, somebody will be right at the start of it and have almost a low capability, or it may be the fact that they've got high motivation, but this is where I get a bit arsey, so pardon me for this, but the senior management don't give a don't give a monkeys about movement, physical activity, and all they're looking at is the Ofsted, they're looking at the phonics, they're looking at the maths, they're looking at basically how are we moving forward in those, and we'll give our skill spot premium money to a coach who can come in and deliver and take care of that for us. So we've got to be able to understand that uniqueness of all three of them, and then unpick that and then work specifically with the area that teacher or that school need that assistance with. And I think that's where things like Bryn and Ian come in beautifully, with them being able to create small, steady things. The one thing I will mention, and I probably shouldn't mention it, but I will mention it, you'll probably all go, well, go away, we've got enough assessment to do, is that when we're looking at capability, motivation, and opportunity, it's really important that we evaluate, self-reflect. So as a teacher, when you're actually doing these small steps, it's really important, because we know self-reflection and checking in is probably a really good indication for your motivation to continue doing something. So when I've talked to some teachers and we've kind of talked about their motivation, and actually they go, I don't want to do physical active learning because the behaviour of the kids is a bloody nightmare once I get them back in the thing, and I have to. And I said, oh, right, okay, well, did you evaluate the session? How did it go? What was the learning for the children like? And then when they reflected just with me in a focus group, they said, actually, believe it or not, they did co-create better. They my trouble ones actually did way more contribution, and then they started to reflect and understand and almost appreciate. But because we're so busy, we don't tend to do that bit, and I think that's really, really important when we're looking at the motivation, the opportunity, the capabilities of a teacher and a school. We also need to know when we're doing those little trials and things, we have to build that in personally for them to see, how's it working, how's it not, and almost building that up for them. I'm going to shut up now because I can go on. I love Combi, but I can go on about it for many hours.